Hello student, in previous lecture we start the lesson that is in the world of star. As while doing the revisions, we have to look the horizon of the sky. So in the horizon of the sky, that sphere is called as a celestial sphere. In this we contains the imaginary lines and points of the earth, that is zenith, nadir, celestial poles, meridian and celestial equators, ecliptic. Okay. Zenith means as we stand on a ground, the celestial spheres has exactly point above our head is called as the zenith, and nadir is while standing on the ground the point of the celestial spheres exactly below our feet, that is called nadir. The celestial poles, if we extend the axis of the rotation of the earth in the north and south directions, it will penetrate the celestial spheres at the point of the celestial north pole and celestial south pole, okay, respectively. And the meridian in astronomy, the great circle which passes through the both of the celestial poles, the observers zenith and nadir is called as a meridian. The celestial equator is, if we uniformly expand the earth's equator in all directions indefinitely, it will penetrate the celestial spheres along the circle. This circle is known as a celestial equator. It is the same plane as the earth's equator. And ecliptic, the last point, is the earth move around the sun, but seen from the earth the sun appears to move along a circle on the celestial sphere. The circle describing the apparent motion of the sun around the earth is called ecliptic. It is the another point is the constellation. While we look into the sky, there are some portions where the density of stars occupying. Okay, that density of stars, that portion of the sky is called as a constellations. Okay, it has appears into different forms of animal, human or object. So these figures are named after a certain events or a belief. When these constellations were identified in the sky, the Western observers have divided the celestial spheres into 88 constellations. Similarly, ancient Western astronomers put the forward of the 12 zodiac sign, whereas Indian astronomers suggest the 27 nakshatras. The zodiac signs, the ecliptic has been imagined to be divided into 12 equal parts. So the Western astronomer divide the whole sky into 12 equal parts. Thus each part subtend 30 degrees at the center of the celestial sphere. Each of these part is called as the Rashi or zodiac sign. They have named the Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. The nakshatras. The moon completes one rotation around the earth in approximately 27.3 days. The portion traversed by the moon in one day is called as a nakshatra. So if we divide 360 degrees into 27 equal parts, each part is about 13 degrees and 20 minutes. Nakshatra is known from the brightest star that it contains. These brightest stars is called as a Yoga Tara, which Yoga means joining. Okay, it holds all other small stars. Which nakshatras we can see during the sky watching depends upon the positions of the earth along its orbit. Okay. So on this page we saw the different photographs of the different nakshatras. Okay. So we have to know some important points about the constellation. During the summer nights, one can see a particular arrangement of 7 stars. We call them as a Saptarshi. In the month of February, these constellations rises around 8 p.m. in the northeast. It is so in this today's days we can saw the first photographs into the sky very much clearly. Okay, that constellation, the first constellations, we today also we can saw these constellations into the sky. It is on the meridian in the month of April and month of October. It is set around 8 p.m. As the name suggests, Saptarshi is a group of 7 bright stars. It is in the shape of the quadrangles with the tail made from the 3 stars. Okay. It thus resembles a kite and can be easily recognized. If we extend one side of the quadrangles, it reaches to the pole star, that is Polaris, as shown in the figure 20.3. Different countries have different names for these constellations. In English it is called as a Great Bear. Okay. Second is the constellations of Saptarshi and Sarmishta, or the Cassiopeia are useful in the locating of the pole star. Sarmishta is made up of 5 bright stars which are distributed along the figure in the letter M. Okay. The perpendicular bisectors of the line joining the third and the fourth star in the Sarmishta goes towards the pole star. The pole star has a Saptarshi on the one side and Sarmishta on the other. The Sarmishta sets a Saptarshi rises. Thus, we can always see either one or the other references point at given any night. Third is Mruga Nakshatra or Orion, has a very bright star, and on a winter nights they can be easily identified it as a 7 and 8 stars, of which 4 are at the corner of the quadrangle. The line passing through the 3 middle stars of the constellations, when extended to meet a very bright star, this is a Vyad or a Sirius. During the month of December, Mruga Nakshatra rises at 8 p.m. on the eastern horizon. It is on the meridian during the February, and in June it set around the 8 p.m. In our area in India also we experience this nakshatra while it's in a rainy season. That we always heard from the our parents and grandparents that the Mrugacha Paus. Okay, so Mrugacha Paus means the Mrug Nakshatra appears in the sky while it's in the rainy season. Okay, fourth is Vrishchik or a scorpion, is a constellations with the 10 to 12 stars, that is Jesta or Antares is the brightest among them. These constellations is below the equator in the sky of the southern hemisphere. In the third week of the April, it can be seen in the eastern sky a few hours after sunset. So this is, in this diagram we divided the whole year in the different rashis. Okay, what we call as a rashi. This point we will look into the next lecture. Okay, thank you.